I feel bad that he wants to fix the situation, and I'm like, I've been on my own for a very long time. You are fine. I'm just trying to be vulnerable with you.
Right.
I'm just trying to talk to you. I don't need anything.
Okay.
I will ask if I want something, you know?
Okay.
Because, like, I never used to be able to ask. And I just, you know, healing is hard. Healing is long.
Absolutely. And it takes time.
It takes a long time.
It takes time.
So I just, in the last 2 years, started to learn how to ask, which 34 years? Get out of here.
Hey, listen. I'm the biggest believer and fan of ask for the things you want. Because especially guys, we're very direct. The vast majority of us. I want you to get what you're saying you want. The best way to do that is sit him down, literally grab his face and say, I would like to talk about this. I need us to deal with this, right? So it may be uncomfortable for you to have to find a way to do that or get over your own inhibitions, whatever they are. But I'm thinking about the outcome. Do you want that issue to be addressed, yes or no? So then you have to deal with it.
Exactly. I feel like even if I was around her, I probably wouldn't have gotten what I needed, like emotionally. Not that she couldn't provide it, but she's not vulnerable with herself, so she couldn't really do that. But I feel like there's a few people that like maybe I worked with here and there, or like that I was around that like I still to this day like hold a lot of reverence for, that actually like maybe a sentence that they told me like kind of sunk in and really helped me. I needed more guidance, but like
Sure.
I feel like I only had like little hey like what about this?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part it was like I felt like I just had to figure everything else out, like
Right.
yeah, let me look at this self-help book or this Buddhist book or this or that, Four Noble
Facts.
Truths. Let me go deep into that.
No, that's so true, man. I mean, and yeah, sometimes, you know, you're fortunate enough you might get it from people outside of your house if you can't get it from, you know, your primary family. I certainly did too. I had some amazing people who really gave me, not only modeled what I believe is an excellent marriage, like a partnership, the way that they communicated, the way that they treated each other. So in my mind, that's kind of like a mental example that I would hope to hold myself to at some point. But also people, like you said, that give you that space can kind of witness and see that you're going through some stuff, and they try to give you that space to be able to be open and honest about those things. And I know that we don't always have that, right? Because that's just kind of a random chance that sometimes we get that. Sometimes it may take you a lot of years before you encounter anybody that you may even resonate with in that sort of way.
I feel like most people don't even understand me half the time because, you know, I'm like on another level with like some things, like whereas like there's a lot of videos on YouTube now, but like I've been having the same thoughts since I was like 5 years old. So I'm like, I feel like back to expectations, because I feel like
you're reading my mind, because that's exactly where I was going back to. So thank you.
I feel like because people don't develop trust with themselves and kind of, you know, dive deep with themselves, it's hard to, in each moment, be able to gauge that. But if people take a step back a little bit more and become a little bit more aware of like just their surroundings, because what I've noticed to like in the last 4 months, there's a lot of people that like are our age and older who are not paying attention to anything, like just the smallest things, like a woman crossing the street, like or bumping into somebody, like just having a certain level of awareness and like being able to like understand energy around you will go a long way, because you can instantly tell with at least body language when someone is like approachable or not.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can definitely present yourself, you know, if I'm sitting here like very closed off and guard is a very typical way to be not accessible to folks, versus, you know, I can have a very open posture that looks like I want to engage with you. But not everybody learns those things, so they may not know.
And then, so I feel like there's just certain ways, like I've had, again, just I haven't had like a lot of guys understand how to approach me in a mental or not very stimulating mentally.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
So I try to just like meet everybody where they're at. Whereas like now I'm like, I don't feel like I'm understood, and I feel like he tries his best to understand, but he's still in that I want to fix instead of being present and understanding the emotion. Whereas I feel like a lot of men do.
Thank you. I was gonna say that's typical for us. Most of the time, and again, I'm not trying to profile all men, but I'm speaking in general here. Most of the time when we hear things, especially from a female partner, the natural inclination is go in and try to save them, fix it, resolve it, give perspective, even when it wasn't asked.
Yeah.
Right? So the hard part is to just sit there and say, so she's about to, let's just say, for example, you're about to complain about your job and you just had a bad encounter with a coworker today. Mm-hmm. Is to just sit here patiently and peacefully and listen and give you the space. It's hard for us to do that. I don't even have a lot of
girlfriends that do that because they always just want to like cut conversations, you know, like I'm like, I actually end up just not saying anything. Like I'll start a story like a lot and then just like get interrupted and be like,
and that's why, but but your point, okay, hold it, sit with that. That's the example of what happens when you get that, you know, enough times. It's like we can sort of get this impression and the signal that, okay, nobody really cares what I have to say. So I should probably not say anything. That's what happens to most guys when we're very young. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women either. I'm just saying predominantly I've seen it happen with young boys. That you're kind of taught like, don't cry, don't be expressive, keep things to yourself. You need to project strength, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, we don't feel comfortable when somebody asks us how you're doing to go in any depth of detail and elaborate on what is actually going on. You're just like, I'm fine, very stoically, right? But that's not great for relationship building because it's not honest.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the flip side, so that's one side. On the flip side, you need people there to give you the space to be able to want to do that, which I'm trying to promote that for all parties. But we need to understand both of those sides. You want somebody to be willing to come share with you, then you need to provide the space for them to want to share with you.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, and then be consistent.
Yeah. I'm grateful for the people I have now in my life that even if we had bouts of times where we didn't really understand each other, you know, lately, you know, I have a lot of men in my life that I can go to and actually like talk to, which is not, I think he's been realizing is kind of like unsettling for him as a man to like have a woman who does have a lot of male friends.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can certainly appreciate that because for most of the guys that I know, we're quite territorial. So we usually like male friends because, you know, if you think about it from a biological standpoint, there's kind of like a threat. And even from an emotional standpoint, right, which a lot of us, we don't naturally think about, I don't know if I want my partner talking about a lot of her personal issues with other guys, especially if they're heterosexual and if they're single on top of that, because I would think that those are things I want her to bring to me because I want to be her sanctuary.
Yes, but so that's also not healthy either all the time. Sometimes you need space.
Oh, no. I think, again, we don't want to...
I like both.
I was going to say, we don't want to live the extremes, right? So, to me, it shouldn't be, okay, no friends, and you only depend on me, because that's codependency. We don't want that either.
Yeah.
But if a lot of my... And I'm just using it as an example. If a lot of my day-to-day issues that I may be having in my relationship with my partner, right? If I'm often bringing it to my friends before I bring it to him, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's not healthy either.
Because that means we don't have a good level of communication with each other because I don't even bring my issues with you to you.
Yeah,
I take them to my girlfriend or my guy friend or my parents and they give me perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't want perspective ever, but if we're going to have a relationship, we need to be able to deal with each other and navigate that with each other.
Yeah, I feel like there's a fine line between actually like that almost being disrespectful. Where it's
right. And these are things we discuss, right? Like, what is disrespectful? Well, we need to outline what that means.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? What does that mean for me? And then let's find that compromise in the middle that we both can agree to.
Exactly.
And even when you talked about with the expectation side, right? So let me go just a step deeper. When you guys are trying to communicate, or if you're trying to share with him, is there any other challenge that you notice that you have with him other than instantly going into fix-it mode?
No, just that. I feel like he's learning how to be vulnerable with himself, but also learning how to be positive and confident to where he was a year ago. So it's like I am understanding his journey, and I completely I am so proud of him. Like he does music and produces and whatnot, and now he's gotten me to sing. And I haven't, ever wanted to do that. My mom was a worship leader, and my family is very musical on both sides of the family. So it's again not wanting to be seen. So now I'm literally taking all of the things.
It's like, let's get center stage. Everybody can see me. Let's talk.
Let's go. Let's do this. The 2023 was literally a complete
break out the song and dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're saying that's the primary issue that you would say that you have had with him so
and
far.
it's like not even an issue. It's just like I feel bad that he wants to fix the situation, and I'm like, I've been on my own for a very long time. You are fine. I'm just trying to be vulnerable with you.
Right.
I'm just trying to talk to you. I don't need anything.
Okay.
I will ask if I want something, you know?
Okay.
Because like I never used to be able to ask, and I just, you know, healing is hard. Healing is long.
Absolutely. And it takes time.
It takes a long time.
It takes time.
So I just in the last 2 years started to learn how to ask, which 34 years? Get out of here.
Hey, listen. I'm the biggest believer and fan of ask for the things you want, because especially guys, we're very direct. The vast majority of us, and like that's the way we understand the easiest. And again, this is not men versus women, but sometimes I've had experiences with female clients where they talk around the things that they want, or they'll say, as an example, I like to leave the breadcrumb trail and I want him to just kind of figure out what I want. And I'll say, ma'am, you've been doing that for how long now? And maybe several months, and maybe several years. At what point do you decide to change your strategy because he's not figuring it out? I want you to get what you're saying you want. The best way to do that is sit him down, literally grab his face and say, I would like to talk about this. I need us to deal with this, right? So it may be uncomfortable for you to have to find a way to do that or get over your own inhibitions, whatever they are. But I'm thinking about the outcome. Do you want that issue to be addressed, yes or no? So then you have to deal with it.
Exactly. That's
Not trying to get on a soapbox. I'm just I'm just
it's
trying to make a
beautiful.
point though, because it's difficult for a lot of people to understand that. And these are some of the nuanced parts of men and women and the way that we communicate, and it is different.
I think it's crazy because like when I in the last few years I was dating this one guy, and it was like for me just sex, and as soon as he told me he was in love with me and he wanted me to meet his family, I was like done. And I'm like,
No emotional investment, or try to limit it as much as possible.
I mean, I love everybody. So there's like my base love where it's like I understand.
But then there's the real vulnerability. What I would consider that's the
the
real
love,
love
yeah.
when you let somebody in.
Yeah, I know, no. Are you kidding me? I look back, I'm like, how horrible. Someone says you're in love with them and you couldn't.
You're like,
I didn't ghost him, but I was like, honey, I thought we talked
we had an
about
understanding.
this. Yeah, and I was like,
We don't do that.
And I look back now and I'm like, why couldn't you just try to, like.
But as you said, and again,
I wasn't there in that
growth is
moment,
hard.
but-
You weren't ready,
Yeah.
right? So
I look back and I'm like, well, now I have to challenge myself in that way where I'm like, I know I'm very direct and most men don't understand that. Like, I'm not talking around a story. I'm actually
Okay, that's
telling
good.
you the truth.
Right. This
Where
is what
it's
you
like,
need to know.
This is what you need to know. And everybody's like, thinks it's something different. I'm like, I literally told you. Like, but because a lot of women are not truthful or not vulnerable in that way, where it's like the breadcrumbs, then I feel like I've had a lot more issues where I'm like, if people were just a little bit more honest, then you would take me seriously with my honesty.
Like, I'm telling you exactly what it is. I'm trying to lay it out as best as I can.
And so I've told him, I'm like, I had an addiction to it, and I want to value, our experience. So for me, doing too much, well, I'm just trying to respect the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like outside looking in, it might just be like, I'm using you or whatever. Or I'm like, I know your trauma and I understand and I'm sorry. Like, but that's not what I'm doing. Like, and takes a lot of growth because like I wanted to have sex the first night.
And you're like, no, I gotta slow down.
Exactly.
I gotta pace myself because we know we're gonna value and appreciate this relationship.
I want to
more
be
if we
able
take
to
our
like
time.
for the very first time make love to somebody the first time I have sex with them, like that I'm dating, whereas like I can make you feel like we're making love, but like that's not the same thing as like,
Because of speed.
yeah.
Because unfortunately, for those that may not know or remember, you cannot microwave a relationship.
No, and that's why
They always take time.
yeah.
Confidence takes time. Trust takes time. Vulnerability takes time.
So I'm like,
creating
I
the
just
space
met
takes
him a few
time.
months ago, so it's like, no, we really need to take time because like you're the first person that I wanted to be in a relationship with in a long time, like because he may not be on the level mentally, and I don't need him to be, but like he is very smart in a lot of the things he does, and he's very talented in his music, and he's like so he's such a good guy, where I'm trying to navigate right now to like help him feel confident and that, where I'm just like,
Sure.
I think you just think I'm joking about the sex, and I'm
And
gonna
you're
promise
helping-
you it's not.
You're helping inform him so that way he can truly understand the depth and the gravity of your experiences.
Yeah, but I think I have to go so deep with him so that
To really get it.
so he could really understand it, because like he understands it, but he's still on that fix it. Like, okay,
Right.
well, I want to hear it so I can fix it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't need it. Like, no one needs you to fix anything, because that's not how it works. That's not how anything works.
Right.
You have
Unless
to,
they actually ask you to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Then maybe.
I mean, you can fix my car. You can fix my things. Like,
Right.
you
But-
can't fix someone's emotions. That's just not a thing.
No, that goes back to the old adage I always like to echo. Change is only going to happen for those that truly desire it for themselves.
Yeah.
So we can see things as the external person that we think you could change or we think you could work on, or it might help life be a little less stressful for you. But at the same time, all I can do is provide that and try to reflect it to you in a healthy way. And you have to decide if you're going to actually do something with that information. So I can't impress those expectations upon you and say, oh, I told you to change now, so why haven't you changed yet?
Yeah.